Hey mages, welcome to today's Budget Arena video. Today I've got some really cool zero rare decks for you. You've been giving me so much support on the budget videos that I just had to get out some more budget content for this weekend, and I've got three really cool, can be competitive against the right matches, shall we say. For zero rares, they definitely, will win your fair share of matches. So without further ado, let's get on to the first deck. And the first deck that we have is zero rare mono white control. Now, mono white control is a really cool deck that's been, hitting the meta at the moment. And if you want to play some sort of, you'd want to play it, but there's been, there's so many rares in that deck. A lot of the power is in the planeswalkers. So first of all, I will say, if you want to upgrade this deck, definitely the way to go is with all the lovely Wandering Emperors, the Elspeth, everything like that you can get into there at the top end, because that is a very good win con for the deck. But with zero rares, we have to look somewhere else. So let's take a little look at what we have. We still get to use a lot of the deck because there are some very powerful cards in common and uncommon in white. So we're going to start here with the removal and interaction that we have. So Lay Down Arms is a really cool 1-drop, exile target creature with mana value less than equals the number of planes you control. Now, we do have 19 planes in there, so this really shouldn't be a problem for us. It's controller gains 3 life, but if you're getting something, rid of something like a Sheoldred or something that's really painful that's going to keep hitting you, this is a great 1 mana spell for us. Then we have lots of enchantment removal. So we've got like Circle of Confinement in there, which you've all seen recently, but the new addition is Ossification from Phyrexia. Enchant basic land you control, enter battle, exile target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, and that is for a 2 mana for us. We can obviously put it on one of our lovely little planes, and then it will get rid of something that is very powerful on the opposite side of the board potentially, or if there's something else that is just really, crushing your life, then this is obviously the card that you want in your hand. We have Planar Disruption in there. Lots of 2 mana spells in here. Enchant artifact creature or planeswalker can't attack or block, and the activated abilities can't be activated, so can help us against planeswalkers again, like I said, and can stop something big, nasty attacking and bringing our life total down. We've got, going to more removal. Annex Sentry is a creature, but it acts as a removal as well. Gives us another potential type of win con. But, very, very slight. We only have this creature in there that's got Toxic 1. But you never know. You might be able to hit your opponents 10 times with this and get some wins. Ends the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature opponent controls with mana 3 or less until this leaves the battlefield. And it's got good stats, good blocking stats, and is a 1/4. So, like I said, does act as more removal in the deck. Then Cathar Commando acts as a beatdown creature, potentially flashing it in. Also a sacrifice, destroying artifacts or enchantments. Good if opponents are playing their own ossifications. We can sack this, kill that if they've maybe got rid of our, one of our main win cons. And the win cons of this deck are some of the creatures. So we've got Sky Blessed Samurai. This is what we're using. Enchantment spells cost. This spell costs 1 less to cast. If we each enchantment we control gives us a 4/4 flyer, and it gives us a really good beatdown plan. Flying is good evasion, and this will probably never ever cost us 7 mana. And we could get this down early and start the beatdowns straight away. We do have Spirited Companion for card draw and another creature body as well. I did speak in this deck. We've got Cathar Commando, and obviously there is more. What have we got? Well, we've got Mage's Attendant in this deck. Interesting card. Ends the battlefield, create a 1/1 blue wizard token. It's got 3/2 stats, so very good there as well. And we can counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. So for an uncommon, this is really cool for a really budget deck. Gives us a 3/2 body and a 1/1 that we can potentially use as a counter spell as well. So this has, various uses and is a good day, good card for this. So it's what you have to do when you're playing zero rares. You have to find value in the commons and uncommons that you're playing, like Annex Sentry, Mage's Attendant as well, Cathar Commando. They all do other things for us, where some rare cards obviously would be better because, they just will be. But we've got other stuff in common and uncommons that can act as both for us as well. We'll mention this card, Machika's Reign of Truth. Gets +1/1 to enter for each artifact enchantment control. So the idea of this is potentially putting it on our Blessed Samurai and getting those big swings if we can, or if we have to attack early with something else, we get that on there. But this does turn into another enchantment creature as well and gets +1/1 for each artifact and or enchantment. And as you can see, we've got a fair few. The samurai, the artifact creature in Annex, we've got so many. Circle, we've got Michiku, we've got, planar, ossification, the spirited companion. So this can turn into a really good creature for us, and hopefully another way to win games. Bit more removal, destroy evil, good at killing those Sheoldreds. We do love that, killing that for us. And then we've got Union of the Third Path, potentially to draw a card and gain some life as well in case of those speedy red decks. But, we do have early creatures to block, and we have lots of early removal to help us against those aggro decks. Now, the land base for this one is pretty simple. It's 19 plains. We got 2 fair basilicas for a bit of extra card draw, and then a couple of roadside reliquaries that could draw us 2 cards if we like as well. You maybe want to up these. I've got 2 in here. Possibly could easily go 3. With just get rid of another planes, because drawing 2 cards is pretty good. You have to pay 2 for it, but it's still it's a nice effect for us. But yeah, this is 0 rare mono white control. Obviously not in the power of the full rare version, but it's a start. It's a start of all your beginner players potentially, or budget players. Good for doing your days, and definitely take this to the rank and see if you can nick some wins with it as well, because that's what these decks are about. It gives you something else to play and not have to risk all your rare and gold wildcards. So let's get on to the next deck. Now for you Izzet mages, I've got Izzet spells, 0 rares, based predominantly around some really cool creatures that work well with spells. Third Path Iconoclast, this come out in Brothers War, so good for amassing the board, casting non-creature spells. We do have a lot in this, 24 non-creatures and 14 creatures, so plenty of ways to actually trigger that. Also, to get triggered is Balmor. So when you cast an instant sorcery spell, creature you control get +1/+0 and trample. Trample is always good for your creatures, especially when there's lots of those little mighty blockers in the way, little 1/1s as well, tokens, anything that's just in the way. This can help you get over that damage, potentially the last bit of damage that you need. We've also got the infantry in there. This has trample, and when you cast an instant sorcery, it gets a 1/1 counter, so works out very good. Can build this up with all of our spells, bouncing, damage, anything, drawing cards that we're going to be doing with this. Building this one up is really good, and it's a when you're not going down the Third Path Iconoclast plan, having this on there and having a big beta can seriously get the job done as well. We've also got Monastery Swiftspear, because it just goes very well in a spells deck. 1 mana, 1/2 haste, prowess. You can come down straight away and start attacking with this card. And as you know, it doesn't put counters on there, but it just builds up for that turn that you're playing those spells, and you can get in some really big hits with that. So then we go on to all the spells. Well, spells for consider in there: Surveil, draw card, find what we need. A bit of bouncage with Fading Hope in this as well, just the 2 of. Ancestral Anger, really good if you can chuck this on your chuck this on your Monastery Swiftspear and give it trample +X/+No, where X is 1 plus the number of cards this named in the graveyard. So we've got 3 of these in there as well. We've got Hex Gold Slash, which I like with the amount of toxic around at the moment. When you've got the bloater, the 4/4 toxic that can come down for 3 mana for those Selesnya toxic decks. This, if it's got toxic, will do 4 damage and kill that bloater straight off with 4 damage for 1 single mana. So that is why that's in there as a couple of. Kumano, very good, turns into a creature and can put something down with an extra counter, but does 1 damage as well. But coming down as a hasty etching of Kumano is good for this deck as well. We have a bit of counter magic, make disappear, and then we have some more strikes. Strike to any target with lightning strike, 2 mana, 3 damage. Very good. Triggers, triggers our creatures, all of our creatures, which is what all these spells do. It's a really synergistic aggro spells deck, this one. Bit of card draw, Reckless Impulse, exile top 2, play until next turn. And then we've got a single Rebel Salvo that I possibly would like to get 1 more in if we can. And obviously 1 more Anger would just make this one better, but at the moment I can't fit it in there. So we've got 22 lands. I think with a lot more testing, we might be able to go to 21 because the CMC average is only 1.6. So let me know if you think we can get away with that, because then I would like to put in potentially another Anger or another Rebel Salve, or the 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker is very good for 3 mana for us. This, if you like aggressive decks and you like playing spells matters decks and, you know, just amassing a board full of tokens and then getting Balmor battle on there and then giving your creatures +1/+0 when you cast an instant or sorcery spell, just sounds amazing if we can do that as a win con and just swing it in for the win. So the last deck I have for you is 4 Mirrodin, 0 rare Boros deck. 4 Mirrodin. I saw Bladehold War Whip and I loved that card when I played against it in the early access. Equipped ability to control of other equipment, 1 less to activate. Equipped creature has double strike as well. It comes in attached to a 2/2 Red Rebel, that's hard to say, a 2/2 Red Rebel War Whip. So it's going to come in attached to a creature, then we can reattach it obviously as well. So we have some hasty creatures in this deck, a lot of equipment, and, you know, some for Mirrodin. Let's have a look at some of the Mirrodin cards if I can just find them there. There's Barbed Battle Fist for Mirrodin. Quick creature gets +1/1. The equip of this is only 1 as well, so can come in and make the creature as well. We've also got Hex Gold Halbard in there as a 3 of. As long as you return, quick creature has first strike and trample and will come in attached to the 2/2. Make the 2/2 and then we can start attacking in with our creatures. So we have lots of other artifacts in this deck as well. Equipment spells. We got Citizen's Crowbar. Enter battle, create a 1/1 citizen creature. It has equipped creature +1. It also has destroy target artifact or enchantment as well. We've got Infested Fleshcutter. Lots of new cards in this one. +2/+0. When a quick creature attacks, you create one of those toxic mites. So that will give you another way to win games as well. We've got a single Thram Power Suit. Really wanted to fit 2, just couldn't fit it in at the moment. Maybe if it proves to be really good, but it seems like it really should be. A quick creature gets +1/1 for each aura equipment attached to it and has War 2. So for me, it's a very good card. And then looking at some of the other creatures we have, Leon and Lightbringer, War 2. So, opponents with that, removal are going to have to pay 2 to target these. So it gives you a little bit of, faith that you can actually put your stuff onto these, put the equipment onto them, and knowing that the removal is going to cost a little bit more for your opponents. The Aspirant, Menace 2/3, makes the equipment spells 1 less to cast as well, which with the Bladehold makes it, even better for us. Activated equipments you control that target this cost 1 less to activate as well. So another good creature with Menace that we can potentially build up. Bronzeplate Boar, Trample. You know how much I love Trample. I spoke about that in the previous deck. +3, +2, and can as configure. The configure cost is expensive, but it's an uncommon. It's a 3 mana 3/2 with Trample, and the reconfigure though is 5. We have Rabbit Battery that has reconfigured 1, so that's a lot better. 1/1 with haste can just get down and start your attack plan, which is what this deck wants to do. You want to be attacking quick. It is quite an aggro deck, and you want to be equipping these creatures up, attacking with your rebels as well. Talking of Rebel Salvo makes a full 4 of in this deck, affinity for equipment. This spell will cost 1 less to cast for each equipment you control. So potentially 1 red mana, 5 damage, target creature or planeswalker, and they lose that indestructibility as well. So that is a perfect card for this deck. Last card to look at, Yachty Declares Ward. We've got a lot of artifacts, and the Law 3, up to 1 artifact becomes a 4/4. Very nice until end of turns. You can attack potentially with something that you can't equip, or you can make the Thopter token to help you a bit against flying, and then you can tap any number of untapped artifacts you control. When you do, Declares Ward deals damage to target creature or planeswalker. So this is a nearer 2 of, can act as a nice bit of removal, and the full 3 laws on this work very well, I think, with the deck. And Hex Gold Slash is in there again. 2 damage target creature, 4 damage for that toxic, because there's so much toxic out there and we need to be combating that toxic, and the Slash can really help us do that. Very excited about these 0 rare decks, but this one is, it's been really fun to test out and play. To be honest, they all have. As you can see, the land base for this one, again, very similar to some others. We've got the Reliquary, a couple of the new Phyrexian cards that can draw us a card, but they do come in tapped. But we do have 15 basics there as well, and we've got a Windscarred Crags for 4 to gain a bit of life, because we may need it, and then just build up later on. But yeah, there's 3 more 0 rare decks for you. Give them a try if you've got the cards. If you've got lots lots of common uncommons, which most of us players do. It's the rares and the mythics that we all struggle with. And, you know, it's good to be able to play multiple decks because it does get very boring just playing one deck. So I hope that you get to play at least one of these decks and you have the cards so you don't have to craft too much. Even if you just use it for your dailies. But if you're in the lower ranks, give it a try. And, you know, some people have been saying they've been doing so well in higher ranks with the budget decks they've been putting out. And I really do love to hear that. So let me know in the comments how you've been getting on and which one of these decks you're going to try first. If you enjoyed today's video and you find it helpful, I'd appreciate really if you could give it a thumbs up and obviously subscribe if you're new here. Lots more budget and non-budget stuff on the channel, loads for you to check out. And if you appreciate the budget and you want to go that one step further, I would really appreciate you becoming a Standard MTG Patreon. Like I always say, check the link below. Thank you to everyone that goes that little bit extra and supports me that way as well. But hope you enjoyed today's video. You lot take care, and I'll see you on the next one.